Thanks for staying with us here on THV 11 Plus. For Arkansas News Now, I'm Ashley King alongside meteorologist Nathan Scott. We're definitely seeing some changes in the weather today.
Looks a little ominous out there this afternoon. We've got a deck of dark clouds. Yes, they are producing rain. Yes, we do have potential. We could see some storms out there this afternoon. My concern, though, is not too high, and that's because the clouds are preventing the storm fuel to be in place for the most part. If we had sunshine, I'd be really concerned today, and we would have a much higher risk of severe weather. But let's switch over to the graphics now, because we still have a level 1 out of 5 for pretty much all of Arkansas, a little bit higher into northwest Arkansas. We'll get to Friday a little bit later in the forecast, because the main threat of severe weather shifts its way into southeast Arkansas. Temperatures, it's warm, it's humid right now here in central Arkansas. We're just dealing with some drizzle and some light rain. Still has some storms rolling through northwest Arkansas. But for today, we'll be watching a line make its way in here from Oklahoma. And that line, as it pushes its way into central Arkansas, 1 or 2 storms could get on the strong to severe side. The main threats out there today will be damaging wind gusts. I'll have more on the timeline of with this squall line rolling through Arkansas coming up a little bit later, and also what you can expect for your Friday.
Thank you, Nathan. And developing today at noon, Little Rock police are investigating a homicide on the city's west side. Here's what we know. Officers responded to a shot spotter alert just before 9 o'clock last night at a home on South Woodrow. There they say they found an adult male who'd been shot. They had him taken to the hospital where he later died. LRPD hasn't released any information on a suspect yet. If you have any information, you're asked to contact them. We're also learning more about an incident Tuesday morning in North Little Rock where officers shot and killed a man. Police now identifying that man, Charles Wigington. Officers say they responded to reports of a man firing a shotgun on West A Avenue and arrived to find Wigington armed outside a home. 3 officers fired at Wigington. He died at the scene. No officers were hurt. The investigation is ongoing. And tensions are high in Minneapolis after a woman was killed by an ICE officer Wednesday. Federal and local officials are at odds over what happened and why it occurred. CBS's Asher Qureshi is there with details.
Quit your job! Protests this morning outside a federal building in Minneapolis, where residents are demanding justice after 37-year-old Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent Wednesday.
Saw the video. I just totally thought it was murder, plain and simple.
That video shows Good backing up in her car as an agent tries to open the driver's side door. As she begins to pull away, another officer draws his gun and fires multiple rounds, killing her.
It was an act of domestic terrorism.
The Trump administration blames Good. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem claims Good had been stalking agents all day. State and local leaders say ICE should leave Minneapolis, and its presence is what led to the violence.
Do you have no decency? We have someone dead in their car for no reason whatsoever.
Minnesota's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension says it will not be part of the FBI-led investigation, saying the FBI is blocking access to evidence, investigative interviews, and case materials.
Someone is fleeing. That is not a justification for the use of deadly force.
Retired ICE agent Eric Ballier took a close look at the video evidence and says it's up to the officer to stay calm.
She's trying to get around that vehicle, is what it appears to me. She has the steering wheel turned to the right, and she's trying to get away. I hate to say it, but you have to tune out the noise. You have to focus on your objective.
Renee Nicole Good leaves behind a wife and 3 children. Asher Qureshi, CBS News, Minneapolis.
A new program here in Arkansas could help improve communication between people with mental illnesses and law enforcement. Arkansas revenue offices now have 2 envelopes available for drivers, a blue one meant for people on the autism spectrum, or a green one for people with any other kind of mental illness. In it, drivers can store a copy of their driver's license, vehicle registration, and their current insurance card. It also lists instructions for the driver being pulled over and some notes for the officer to who makes the traffic stop more effective.
Law enforcement officers seem to really appreciate it because, we have great group of law enforcement officers in the state, and when they walk up to a car, they want it to go as smoothly as possible for the driver and everyone else, and these envelopes only are going to enhance that interaction.
These two envelopes are different than the communication that is a decal created years ago. That one requires proof of diagnosis, unlike the envelopes, and is placed on the car's license plate, showing the driver is not able to communicate effectively. You can get the envelopes at any Arkansas Revenue office for free or online on our website, thv11.com. And a family's fight for justice continues in Pine Bluff as Joynell Brandon's loved ones say their fight to bring her home is far from over. Our cameras were inside the courtroom Wednesday as the man prosecutors say is connected to Brandon's death stood before a judge for the first time. THV 11's Maya Ellison has a look at where the case stands and the message Brandon's family wants to share.
She gets you with that smile, and no matter who you were in her heart, you were a kind person and you were her friend.
And she wanted to see the good in everybody. And always, you know, we all can agree if you talk to her, she was going to make sure she said, I love you.
Every chance.
I love you, sis. You know, every chance she got.
6 months. That smile has been a source of strength. For Markesia Johnson, it's a reminder of who her mother is and why her family hasn't stopped searching for Joynell Brandon.
It's been very rocky without not knowing the proper information that we should, and recently learning the information that we did, it still doesn't bring us any closure because we don't have her home with us physically.
Right here on Fluker Street is where Pine Bluff police say Brandon was last seen. Police reports say Johnson dropped her mother off at a home on this street, expecting her to return later. By the next morning, she found Brandon never came home. In that same report, it says Brandon was last seen in a white box truck with 30-year-old Tony Thompson Jr. Months later, police say they found Brandon's blood inside that vehicle, along with the shell casing and DNA allegedly linked to Thompson.
Learning about the DNA evidence, it was very heart-wrenching because knowing that it is her DNA, considering that it matched me, so it's like a piece of me was found, but a whole part of me is still out there somewhere.
Thompson was charged last week with first-degree murder and abuse of a corpse. And on Wednesday, he appeared before a judge for his plea and arraignment with Brandon's family in attendance.
Because this is a rocky roller coaster. It's not easy at all. And
the emotion, overwhelming. But through the tears, Johnson says she always goes back to her mother's light.
She wouldn't want us sad. She would tell us we crazy for crying. What y'all crying for? That's what she would say. She was very God-fearing. And that's a part of the reason why I keep my faith, because she had faith that was so strong. And as my grandmother would say, all you need is a little faith.
And MJ says that faith is what drives her ultimate mission.
My overall goal is to bring her home by any means necessary. So, like I always say, our motto, forever screaming, bring Joynell home until we get that reunion.
In Pine Bluff, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Thank you, Maya. Tony Thompson pled not guilty to the charges with his bond set at $1 million. Today would have been Joynell Brandon's 44th birthday. MJ says the family will hold a balloon release in her honor tonight. Coming up, silent retreats are growing in popularity and what people say they gain by saying nothing at all.
The chance of showers and maybe some strong storms could ramp up as we go into the latter part of this afternoon through the early evening hours. It's going to be warm and humid out there today, but much cooler weather is in store going to the weekend. I'll have more on that and the severe weather potential for the next 2 days coming up. Good afternoon, Central Arkansas meteorologist Nathan Scott. Right now, here across the region, we're dealing with lots of clouds and some patchy drizzle or a few spotty showers, but nothing of concern. They did have some severe thunderstorm warnings in northwest Arkansas earlier. Those storms have weakened below severe limits, but still could pack some gusty winds as they make their way into parts of northwest Arkansas. But what we have to watch out for is this line make its way through Oklahoma. And as this line pushes into the natural state, will it hold together? Will it strengthen? Will it weaken? Right now, it's just a wait and see type of situation. But some model information shows that it could strengthen, and our chance of a few strong, possibly severe thunderstorms could be ramping up later this afternoon into this evening. It is windy out there nonetheless, and these winds will stick around through the rest of the day, coming in from the south about 15 to 30 miles per hour, but there could be some higher gusts, especially across the higher terrain. So we have wind energy in place. What we don't have, the good news is, storm fuel. So that's why it's a very low risk of severe weather out there today. It's a level 1 out of 5, but winds are going to be the main threat. A brief tornado cannot be ruled out. Once again, the chance is very low, but if these storms get a little more feisty than expected, there could be 1 or 2 tornado warnings issued out there today. And we'll certainly be here watching it very closely, and Chief Meteorologist Joynell Brandon will be on here, THV 11 Plus, for a live 2:30 stream this afternoon. Now tomorrow, the threat of severe weather starts to shift its way more towards the Arklamas and southeast Arkansas. Next 3 days, 65 to close out the work week on Friday. Windy, we're dry. Saturday, much cooler, 54. Then we drop down into the upper 40s going into Sunday. Future radar. This model solution is more aggressive than what we're seeing from some other information. This one says there's going to be a little more storm fuel in place for these storms to develop, so we'll have to watch out for any of these cells that you see here close to Hot Springs, Russellville, around 3 to 5 o'clock. And here in Central Arkansas, our timeline, if we're going to have any strong to severe thunderstorms, would be between, I would say, 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock this evening. And the threat continues to push its way to the east past Searcy, closing in on Pine Bluff as we get into 10, 11 o'clock. And then later tonight, it's out of here. But we're not done with the chance of rain on Friday. After a lull in the activity through Friday morning, still primarily dry, but then we'll see more moisture build in here for Friday afternoon and Friday evening. We need the rain. We don't need severe weather, and I think primarily the severe weather threat on Friday will be situated into Mississippi, and then everything moves out of here going into later tomorrow night, early Saturday morning. This is even showing the potential, maybe a wet snowflake or sleet pellet as colder air builds its way in, and those temperatures will start to tumble, especially for northwest Arkansas. 53 tonight, early storms, some could be strong, and then tomorrow 65, scattered showers and storms. Mostly cloudy. Best chance the rain will be in south and southeast Arkansas. Your 7-day forecast, we dry things out and really cool things down. Monday morning, we're starting off into the 20s area-wide, and temperatures feeling more like January getting into next week.
Thank you, Nathan. Research shows silence is physically and emotionally beneficial, and some say prolonged silence can even be a spiritual experience. Lisa Ling traveled to Northern California to meet a group of people from various faiths and walks of life who are seeking a break from our loud world.
Nestled in the rural hills of Northern California, not far from the hustle and bustle of San Francisco, it's nature that speaks the loudest at the Spirit Rock Meditation Center.
I'm going to ask you to do something that you've probably never seen on TV before. I'm going to ask you to stop what you're doing and just be silent. Feels good, right? Well, imagine doing it for 8 days.
This group of around 100 people haven't uttered a word in more than a week. And that's because they're participating in a silent retreat.
If you talk to any of the retreatants, they feel alive. And that's what that silence does.
Feeling the body after all that walking and movement.
Toire Sala is the retreat facilitator. She herself has participated in silent retreats as long as 3 months.
Why is seeking out silence so important?
I think that silence gives us our ground, gives us our center stability.
Post-pandemic, silent retreats are surging in popularity.
What would you say compels people to want to come and spend 8 days, or in your case, 3 months sometimes?
Yeah, that's right.
In total silence.
What compels us is suffering. But what keeps you coming back retreat after retreat after retreat is the realization that you can be out of that suffering, that you can be released from that mental pressure.
The benefit of silence isn't just anecdotal. Research shows silence helps lower blood pressure, cortisol levels, calms our thoughts, and can improve concentration and focus.
We have to learn how to find that stillness. You need it to know that you're moving through life in the direction you want to go.
That's exactly why Noelle Clark is here. She sat down with us shortly after speaking for the first time in 8 days.
How does it feel to be talking again? I feel like my words are coming from a place like deeper inside, a more grounded place.
This is Clark's 4th silent retreat.
Why did you want to even explore this path of silent retreats? I think I was curious about what could happen in silence. I'm always preparing for something, whether that's like the next phone call, the next email. I remember back then being like, what would it be like to like let all of that go?
But letting go was difficult. On her first night there, Clark received shocking news.
My teacher pulled me out of the dinner line to tell me that my mom had a heart attack. It was like a really bumpy start to the retreat.
Clark's mom ended up being okay, and after much reflection, she decided to stay.
Was that stressful? It was difficult, and also it was really, really healing, and just thinking about how we hold on to things, resentments, and none of that matters when you get that news.
For many retreat participants, the experience is spiritual. They spend their time reflecting and doing grounding exercises like meditation, all rooted in Buddhist practices.
Do you feel like transformation happened here? Oh, yeah. Without it sounding like a psychedelic journey, a lot of healing and kind of working with the impermanent stuff around my mom, a lot of forgiveness.
For Clark, this retreat wasn't just about disconnecting from the outside world, but connecting back to herself.
What will you take back with you from what you experienced this week? I hope to bring like this idea that that steadiness that I feel right now is accessible, like in any moment, to just be able to like go inside. Like, it's almost like going home.
I'm Lisa Ling in Woodacre, California.
Arkansas men's basketball on the road last night for their first SEC road game of the season. Highlights from a slightly too close for comfort game against Ole Miss. Next in sports.
The THV 11 Sports Desk, sponsored by your Central Arkansas Hyundai dealer.
Arkansas men's basketball came into last night fresh off that SEC opening victory against a ranked Tennessee team. A different kind of test yesterday, though. Their first road game of the conference season. In fact, just their second true road game of the season as a whole. John Calipari taking on Chris Beard and Ole Miss. And who else? Darius Acuff Jr., freshman phenom, gets things going, tying the game 5 minutes in. And that would be the last time that Arkansas didn't lead. The other half of that dynamic freshman duo, Malik Thomas, knocks one down from long range. And get used to that spot on the court, because here's Carter Knox getting it on the catch and shoot three from just about that same spot. And then why not one more? Billy Richmond. Yeah. Time after time, different players stepping up to splash from deep. How about just before half? Trevor Brazil looks like a volleyball set. How quick that gets out of his hands. Then 4-point game, under a minute to go. Who else? The Hogs put the ball in the hands of the freshman. Darius Acuff Jr. ices this one for a Razorback victory.
Coach Cal just gave me the confidence. I just got to go out there and do it. He trusts me. I trust him. But like I said, we got a couple guys that can do that, what I just did. We got so many guys that can score, so many guys that can make plays. So that was a great team win, I would say.
Up to Jonesboro now. Arkansas State had their first Sun Belt loss of the season last time out against James Madison, but a nice bounce back yesterday against a good Troy squad. The Red Wolves held a double-digit lead for most of this one. 5 different Red Wolves scoring in double figures, led by Christian Harmon with 18. And yeah, you see it right there, the tweet from Razorback football. The hill is hot. Guys are transferring left and right. 4 more Power 4 transfers for Ryan Silverfield yesterday, headlined by former Washington and North Carolina linebacker Kamori House, top 10 backer in the portal. Hogs also nabbed a pair of SEC transfers on the defensive side of the ball, moving that portal class into the top 10 in the country, according to On3. Also, some good news internally. That man, defensive lineman and former Mills star Charlie Collins, announcing that he's taking his name out of the portal and re-signing with the Razorbacks. We'll see now how the rest of the portal shakes out. It closes next Friday, the 16th. Meanwhile, Arkansas men's basketball next on the road Saturday at Auburn.
Welcome back. Well, Banana Ball is coming to our neck of the woods in just a couple of months. The firefighters and the Loco Beach Coconuts will face off in 2 games at Dickey Stevens Park on March 14th and 15th. Tickets are tricky to get for these games because they're so popular. If you entered the Banana Ball lottery to get tickets to the games at Dickey Stevens, be sure to check your email to see if you got picked. The limit is 5 tickets per person. It's going to be fun. A little baseball, a little entertainment.
Yeah.
But hopefully you got those tickets if you were hoping to.
And hopefully the weather will cooperate. Of course, I can't tell you the forecast on March because who knows? It could be in the 80s, it could be in the 50s, it could be rain, it could be snow even.
Yeah.
But out there today, we are watching out for potential of some strong, maybe severe thunderstorms. The chance is low, but I want you to stay weather aware. This afternoon, especially here in the metro, between 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock this evening, because that's going to be the window of opportunity. If we have severe weather, that's when we could see it. And the main threats, once again, damaging wind gusts, but a brief tornado cannot be ruled out just because it's so windy out there.
Of course, we can keep it right here on THV 11 for more information.
Yep.
And at 2:30,
Chief Meteorologist Tom Brandon will have a live update.
All right, so keep it here, THV 11 Plus, if you want to find out more about what's happening to stay up to date on the weather, news, and more.